Hello everybody, in this tutorial I will be talking about how to make the Pong game using Pygame in Python. So our final product will look like this. So let me run it and show you how it will look. So we have this window open right here. We have score for two players, so of course two paddles. And then we have this button here, the start button. And when you click on it, you can now, as you can see, you can play it and so yeah, that's how it works. And when you miss the ball, and then it increases the score. So that will be how our Pong game will be working, and that's what we're gonna build in this tutorial. So let's get started. But before we get started, we need Pygame so that we can use it. So because Pygame is an external module, we have to install it. So what you can do to install the easy way is just go to your settings, and then you can just go to your project Python tutorial, and then from here you'll see Python interpreter. From there you click on that, and now from there what you can do is click on the add button, and then you can just search for pygame and then install package, and it will install package. And when you have installed it, you can type import pygame. So this is the command we use to like use external modules. So I have put this import pygame, and then you run that. So if you run that and you get the same message like hello from the Pygame community, and you don't have any errors, so that means you have installed it successfully. So now we can continue with building the Pong game. So now we have imported Pygame, and now we need to create a window for it. But before creating a window, we need to initialize Pygame so that we don't have any errors while running it. So what we can say is pygame.init, and it will initialize pygame. Now, what we need to do is we need to create a window. So for creating a window, I'm just gonna create a variable, and then there's this statement in pygame called pygame.display.set, and you need two parentheses here. And when you put this, it will tell Pygame to create a window. And then in this parentheses, we have to put how, what should be the width and height of the window. So I'm gonna put 1000 by 600 pixels. So 1000 will be the width and 600 will be the height. And now if you run it, you'll see that the window came just for a second or less than a second. But you can see it's creating a window, and that's good. Now if you see carefully on the top left corner, it displays pygame window. But what if I want to change its name and set it to something else like Pong? So we can do that, and for what we need to do is we can say pygame dot display dot set caption, and then you can say Pong. And now if I run it, you'll see Pong. You can see that. Now we need to fix this issue, because it's just coming for like half a second and then it's going away. So what we need to do is we need to create a while loop. So what we gotta say is, first we gotta define a boolean value, and I'm gonna put it as true, and then we gotta define a while loop, and then you can say while running. And then now what we need to do is we need to get events. So events are something that we can use to handle certain things, like we can trigger something, from that we can create buttons and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna use event for canceling, but when we okay, that's, I didn't mean to run it. So when we use events, I want to use the X button so that we can successfully close out the window, and that's what I'm gonna do is. So for getting events, I'm gonna create a for loop, and I'm gonna say for event in pygame that event dot get, and then Now to get an event, I can say if event dot type is equal to then pygame dot uh, for our case we need quit right now, and then we can just say running is equal to false. So what is happening here, what this will say is if pygame.quit, I mean this X button is pressed, then it will set running is equal to false, and if while loop is false then the window won't be active anymore and it will shut down. Now that we have done this, I'll run the window. I mean, and as you can see, we have successfully created a window in Pygame. And yeah, this is how you create a basic window in Pygame. And now we're gonna be learning how to draw stuff in Pygame. So let me start with that. And now for drawing stuff in Pygame, there are a lot of methods to draw stuff. You can draw rectangles, you can draw circles, and a lot of other stuff. So, but uh, for our case, we need to draw two rectangles and a ball. I mean, a circle. Now, what I'm gonna do it a little different because after some while we need to do the collision and all that, and for that I will do a little different so that collision is easier for us. So what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna create a variable for all of them. Player one will be the rectangle on the left side, so I can say pygame dot rect, and now it will ask me to give it x, y, and its coordinates, and like the width and height, how big you want it to be. So if you don't know the coordinate system in Pygame, it's basically the same as the coordinate system we use right now. Like x goes from left to right and y goes to from down to up. But it's just a bit different. What happens is x is the same, it goes left to right, but y goes from up to down. So in normal, like we use, it is down to up, but in Pygame, it is up to down. So that's how you do that. And now we need to put the coordinates. So I want it to be like uh, in like the start of the screen over here, and then like half. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say for the width I'm gonna say 5, and then for that I'm gonna say 40. So you can also do that if you're using the same width and height for the screen. And then it asks for like the width and height you want to put for the rectangle. I'm gonna say 15 and 140, and that's okay. Now I'm gonna display it on the screen, and for that I wanna create a variable, I mean a function in which I can display function on in which I'll display all of my game characters. You could also display it in the while loop, but if you keep doing that, it is not a bad practice, but it messes up your while loop and it is difficult to understand. In programming, you should always keep your code very clear to understand. And yeah, so I'm gonna put it here, and I will say pygame.draw.correct. What this does is it basically allows us to draw a rectangle, and it needs three arguments. The first one is the window, the surface we want to display it on, and for that we have that's why I put it in a variable. So I'm gonna put window, and then the other one is color. So in Pygame we use RGB values. So I'm gonna define a color in a variable white, and I'm say 255, 255, 250. So this will make the color white, and if for red it would be 0 0, like 255 00, and for green it would be 0 255 0, and for blue it would be 0 0 255, and for black it would be 0 0 0. So but I need white, so I'm gonna put 255 255. And now I'm just gonna put the variable here, and then it asks what you want to draw. So I have created this variable here, so that's what I want to draw. So I'm gonna say player one, and now let me call this function. And if I run it, Now you'll notice that nothing actually happens. It doesn't display anything. Because what happens in Pygame, we have to update the window manually. Right now, it hasn't registered this code in the window because we haven't updated the window. And for what you can do is for that we can say pygame.display.update, and this will update the window. And now if I run it, you can see we have successfully created a rectangle, and it's working. Okay, now what else we want to create is we want to create player 2. So I'm going to say pygame dot rec, basically the same. I'm just going to switch the x value for it. So I'm going to put it at 980, and then 240, and then 15, then 140. The rest is same, only 9a. The x value is different. And I'm just going to draw it again, pygame.drag.window white, and then layer 2. And now if I run it, okay, so it's working great. And we can see the player 1 and player 2 paddles. And now what we need to do is we need to create a ball. So I'm gonna say ball is equal to pygame.rect, and then it needs what so here I want it to be in the middle of the screen, so middle of x value and middle of y value. So how am I gonna do this is width divide no, okay, so 1000, that is our windows width, and I'm gonna divide it by 2, and then yeah, this would be good. So I'm gonna explain it. Just let me write this code and then I'll explain what's happening here. 600 divided by 2, and then 30, 30. So now as you can see, I've divided by 2, so it is in the middle, and then I'm also subtracting 15 from it. And that's because when you're creating stuff in Pygame, let me just show it really quick. Our we the x value is from left, right? So if the x value is 0, it will be here, and 5 like that increases. But in the circle, it has an x value of I mean, it has an x value of like 500, but then we have also the its width, and it will be 30. So it won't be in the middle. It won't look in the middle. Only the left side will be in the middle. So that's why I'm subtracting 15 from it. And now let me show you pygame.draw.ellipse, and then white, and then ball. And now if I run it, as you can see, it's in the middle. So that's how that's working. And now I would want to add something extra. I want to add a line between my window so that it makes it clear in two parts. So I'm gonna say pygame.draw.align, and again window white, and then we need to give it a starting value and an ending value. Like lines have a starting value and an ending value. I'm gonna say width divided by 2, and 0 is its, oh, okay. So I'm just gonna put 1000 again. I have this habit of using variables here, but in this case I'm not using variables for the resolution of our window. So yeah, and then we have again, this time it will be height. Again, see, I'm in a habit of using variables, and then oops, no, it's wrong. And yeah, and it will be 600. Now if I run it, as you can see, we have a line in the middle, and that's okay. So yeah, see, so this is how it's working, and I guess this is it for this tutorial, guys. In the next one, we'll be working on how to move the paddles and the ball like that. and the ball's also moving. We'll be working on that. We'll also work a little bit on collision, I guess. And yeah, so this is it for this tutorial, guys. If you like the video and you want to see more like these, so please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.